Welcome everybody to the channel, and welcome to Race 9 of the iRacing Porsche Cup here at the legendary Circuit de Spa-Francorchamps. Before we head out onto the track, there's one big update. The channel has officially been renamed from The Sim Racing Driver to SimRacerSven. I wanted something that feels more personal, more authentic, and more connected to all of you following this journey week after week. The content itself won't change. You can still expect intense iRacing battles, Porsche Cup action, competitive racing, and plenty of exciting moments throughout the season. But now, it's time to focus on one of the most iconic circuits in all of motorsport, the Spa-Francorchamps. 7 kilometers of pure commitment, high-speed corners, massive elevation changes, and absolutely no room for mistakes. From the terrifying sweep through Eau Rouge and Raidillon, all the way to the long runs of Kemmel and Blanchimont, this place always delivers incredible racing. So buckle up, because Race 9 of the iRacing Porsche Cup is about to begin here at Spa. And here's a look at the starting grid for Race 9 at Spa-Francorchamps. Starting from pole position, Marcelo Julio Negro Muniz from Argentina. A strong qualifying performance and definitely one of the favorites heading into this race. Alongside him on the front row, Omar Saeed representing the United Kingdom. A very consistent driver this season, and starting from P2 gives him a real opportunity to fight for the win tonight. Then, in third position, Alex Alcoholic from Serbia. An impressive qualifying lap puts him right into the mix as we get ready for the run down into La Source for the very first time. But further down the grid, there's trouble already for Sven Matthijs. After failing to set a valid qualifying lap, Sven will have to start this race all the way back from P23. And around Spa-Francorchamps, that means one thing: a very long and very difficult race ahead. 24 drivers. 7 kilometers of legendary racetrack. And now, it's finally time to go racing at Spa. The engines are roaring now, and the tension around Spa-Francorchamps is absolutely electric. The lights are out. Race 9 of the iRacing Porsche Cup is underway. A clean launch from the front row as the entire field storms down towards La Source for the very first time. And there's immediate chaos at La Source. It's absolute mayhem on the opening lap here at Spa. Matthijs carefully picking his line, threading the Porsche through the chaos. And somehow, he gets through without any damage. Now, the long acceleration downhill begins towards Eau Rouge and Raidillon, one of the most iconic sections in all of motorsport. The field still tightly packed together. Drivers searching for slipstream, and already setting up attacks at the long Kemmel Straight. Now the field charges up the Kemmel Straight and into the braking zone for Les Combes and Malmedy. And look at that dust flying across the circuit. Somebody's gone wide up ahead. It's Jordi Van Es. He's dropped the Porsche into the gravel trap. A huge mistake in the opening lap pressure cooker here at Spa-Francorchamps. Now the field heads down towards Rivage. One driver has spun the car around. It's Polinsky, sitting with his Porsche right in the middle of the track. Drivers reacting at the very last second, some diving to the inside, others squeezing by on the outside, and once again it's absolute chaos here on the opening lap. Now the field sweeps through the fast double left of Pouhon, and Cam Hopkins is way wide on corner exit. Hopkins desperately trying to keep the rear of the car under control, and somehow he manages to save it without spinning, but moments like that can destroy your momentum here at Spa, especially with the field still packed tightly together in these opening stages. Now into the incredibly fast section leading towards Paul Frere, and Leonard Eisen is in trouble. He's running way out towards the edge of the circuit, and now another driver loses control. Huge tire smoke pouring off. Francesc Murillo is sideways. And now another huge moment. Frank Van de Putte has gone off at Blanchimont. That is one of the fastest corners anywhere on this circuit, and you do not want to make a mistake there. Now into the bus stop chicane, and this time it's Christian Petersen in trouble. The Martini Porsche has taken heavy damage. What an absolutely insane first lap this has been here at Spa-Francorchamps. Cars off everywhere. Dust clouds, spins, damage. So the big question now is, will lap 2 be just as chaotic as that unbelievable opening lap? Once again, the field charges through Eau Rouge and up the hill towards Raidillon, and Yunhan Zhou is absolutely attacking the curves. Zhou somehow manages to keep it pointed in the right direction. But that was another very nervous moment in a race that already feels completely out of control. Now heading down towards Rivage, and Yunhan Zhou sees an opportunity on Sergio Llorente Sanchez. Zhou dives aggressively to the inside under braking. Sergio gives him just enough room on the outside, and Zhou gets it done. Meanwhile, Sven Matthijs is getting closer and closer to Sergio Llorente Sanchez. You can see the pressure building now. Corner after corner, Matthijs is closing the gap, looking for any small mistake. Trying to position the Porsche for a possible attack, but overtaking at Spa is never easy. Now into the braking zone for the bus stop chicane, and Sergio Llorente Sanchez runs a little wide on entry. Matthijs immediately spots the opportunity and sends the Porsche down the inside. A very late move under braking, both leaving just enough room, and somehow they both make it safely through the bus stop. That was close. Matthijs with a very untidy run through Raidillon, and that poor exit speed could immediately leave him vulnerable on the Kemmel Straight. Here comes Taylor Dixon. Dixon tucking right into the slipstream, now using every bit of momentum. And Taylor Dixon takes full advantage of it. Not only does he get past Sven Matthijs, he also sends it past Sergio Llorente Sanchez into Rivage. What a move from Dixon. But now Matthijs is closing right back in on Sergio Llorente Sanchez. The gap disappearing rapidly once again as they head towards Fagnes. Matthijs arriving with a lot more speed into the braking zone. For a moment it looks like he might run straight into the back of Sanchez. A very close call there. Now through Paul Frere. And Sergio Llorente Sanchez gets a poor exit out of the corner. And Sven Matthijs immediately recognizes the opportunity. A perfectly timed move from Matthijs as he powers past Sanchez and finally completes the overtake. But Sergio Llorente Sanchez is not giving up without a fight. Heading into the bus stop chicane, Sanchez throws the Porsche back to the inside. Due to a huge pileup involving Oscar Sudo, Yuri Bezabikov, and Taylor Dixon, Sanchez is forced to take evasive action at the very last second, and that finally allows Sven Matthijs to break away and keep the position. We are now up to lap 9, and the race has finally settled down a little for Sven Matthijs over the last few laps. Dark clouds now hanging over the circuit, the light fading rapidly, and the atmosphere around Spa suddenly looking much more threatening. And it looks like things have gone badly wrong for Sergio Lorente Sanchez over the last few laps. Sanchez sees Matthijs approaching rapidly in the mirror, and to his credit, he moves aside cleanly and fairly. And now we are in the final lap here at Spa-Francorchamps. What a race this has been. Chaos on the opening lap, countless mistakes, dramatic battles, and changing conditions all throughout the race. But now, for the grand finale, the sun is starting to break through the clouds once again, light returning to the circuit, the sky opening up over the Ardennes, and Spa suddenly looking absolutely spectacular in these final moments. After such a dark and chaotic middle phase of the race, it almost feels like the circuit itself is putting on one final show for the drivers. Up ahead of Sven Matthijs, a three-car battle is developing between Cam Hopkins, Marcelo Julio Negro Muniz, and Mark Mintel. And Matthijs is slowly beginning to close the gap. You can sense the opportunity building here in the closing stages of the race. It's going to be incredibly close now, down towards the bus stop chicane for the very last time. Matthijs still pushing absolutely everything he has left, trying to close the final few tenths to the group ahead. But after 11 brutal laps around Spa-Francorchamps, the finish line is there. What an absolutely incredible race we have witnessed here at Spa-Francorchamps. After 11 chaotic and action-packed laps, it is Leonard Eisen from Germany who takes the victory in race 9 of the iRacing Porsche Cup. Finishing in second place, Josué Cirker, also representing Germany, after a very strong and consistent drive throughout the race. And rounding out the podium, Bolin Hu from Antarctica with an impressive performance to secure P3. Meanwhile, Sven Matthijs can be very satisfied with tonight's race as well. After starting all the way back in P23 following a difficult qualifying session, Matthijs fought his way through the chaos and climbed an incredible 14 positions to finish inside the top 10 in P9. Thank you all very much for watching. If you enjoyed the video, make sure to like, subscribe, and follow the journey here on SimRacerSven. And until next time, see you at the next race.